The teenage driver of a getaway car involved in dragging to his death PC Andrew Harper in Berkshire last summer has been jailed for 16 years for manslaughter. Two passengers in the car, who are both 18, were jailed for 13 years. The teenagers were attempting to steal a quad bike when PC Harper responded to the 999 call.
Andrew and Lizzie Harper were married for less than a month when he was killed. Today she was in court with family to see those responsible jailed for their crimes. Jessie Cole, Henry Long and Albert Bowers. This is Cole and Bowers laughing after their first court appearance.
On hold, the easing of lockdown due to come into force in England this morning is delayed after an increase in coronavirus cases.
Shielding for those considered most vulnerable to the virus comes to an end for most people in England and Scotland.
A virtual gathering of stars of the small screen for the BAFTAs last night. We'll hear from some of the winners at a very different awards ceremony.
Good morning, and it'll be a very different place here on Wembley Way today. The FA Cup final, Arsenal versus Chelsea. The eyes of the world looking on, but no crowds at all. And also, the FA Cup final in August.
Cases in England are increasing for the first time since May. Official data suggests there are now around 4,200 new infections a day, compared with 3,200 a week ago. Stemming any further rise means putting on hold many of the activities that were due to return.
Let's take a look at the front pages, most leading on the announcement of yesterday's lockdown announcement, with the Times saying the brakes have been slammed on plans to ease more restrictions. It says that the Prime Minister has readied the country for an autumn without seeing friends or family if, and it's a big if the number of cases continues to rise.
Let's take a look next at The Guardian. It says that Boris Johnson has raised the threat of a second national lockdown if social distancing rules are not followed.
A picture of a packed beach leads the front of the newspaper, reporting how people flocked to the seaside yesterday, while the government's chief medical advisor warned we had reached the limits, that's a quote, of easing restrictions. And let's take a look online. The Huffington Post reporting how the tightening of rules in parts of the north of England has impacted people getting ready to celebrate Eid, the Islamic holy festival, with some Muslims telling the paper that they feel targeted and singled out. What are you seeing on the insides? Well, it's picking up actually on one of those stories. This is in the Daily Mail this morning, saying that less than half of us are properly social distancing. So they have looked at some statistics from the Office for National Statistics, finding that only 47% of people saying that they always keep a safe distance from others. And you've kind of, I don't know how big the survey was, but you've kind of got to think, like, if you were asked... Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would say yes. Naturally, you'd kind of err on the side of yes, I'm a good citizen and everything. Yeah. It's kind of, it doesn't surprise me, but what? And are they saying that that's the reason we're seeing the cases? They don't draw any. They themselves don't draw any conclusion, but they say, let's have a look. 31% said they kept a distance often. 13% said sometimes. 5% said not very often. I think we can all fall into all everything of the categories at some of the time, but can't we? I think you try as hard as you can, don't you? Yeah. And then you forget. You enjoying this space? Well, you know, I think it's a comfortable 2 metres with mitigation. Yeah, exactly. My wall of newspapers. I tell you. The further easing of lockdown restrictions in England, due to come in this weekend, has been postponed for at least 2 weeks. This after an increase in coronavirus cases. Casinos and bowling alleys will remain shut. As Boris Johnson said, it was time to squeeze the brake pedal. Face coverings will also become mandatory in more indoor settings, such as cinemas. Professor Chris Whitty, England's chief medical officer, warned that the UK may have hit its limits on easing restrictions. From this month, employers must pay national insurance and pension contributions for their furloughed employees. It's as part of a gradual tapering of the scheme. The rising rate of new coronavirus infections has forced the government to delay the reopening of some businesses, but it's been estimated by a think tank that more than half of the people furloughed during the pandemic are now back at work. British Airways pilots have voted to accept a deal that will temporarily cut pay by 20%. And also cut 270 jobs. The deal prevents a controversial fire and rehire scheme where staff would have been handed new contracts on worse conditions. BA had proposed to make 12,000 staff redundant as it struggles with the impact of the coronavirus.